everyone. Today I would like to take up a new question from our comment box, wherein one of the parents wants to understand whether teaching using gadgets to special needs kids is it okay, or do we need to avoid it, especially if the children has virtual autism. Her actual question was, she has a child around 6 years old and they have been in UK for the past 1 year, wherein the child was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders, but they haven't specified whether it is virtual or classic. Because the child is of 6 years of age, I'm expecting it to be a classic classic autism child rather than virtual autism. And whenever the child is getting exposed to any type of screens or gadgets, for example iPad at homes or the rhyme time in the schools, child is developing more of the stimming behaviors. So that is her observation, and she requested her school not to use any of the gadgets. But then the school is very specific and they told her or declared that this is how we are going to teach an autistic child. So right now she wants to say that my son have just achieved little bit of speech and he has some sensory issues. We have to keep teaching him. If he is spending more time with us, then we can see some changes in him, just as we are worried about his speech. So can you please help us, ma'am? So definitely, Andy, in your scenario, what I would say is your observations could be very realistic, because as parents you will be spending more time with the children than the school hours or than the teachers. You will be the first person who will be understanding what the child's strengths are and what his weaknesses are. And if you do a good data analysis by recollecting or by noting down the journal, you will be able to understand the triggering point for the increase of stimming behaviors. There could be various triggers, but in your case, if the data says in case the higher the screen times, the more the stimming behaviors is, then definitely I will recommend you to wean off the screens as much as possible, at least at the home environment where you have 100% control. And why I believe this is, when the parent or any other human being starts interacting with the child more, definitely child is going to get a lot of other information or the extra linguistic cues along with the language. Isn't it? Even if I have to talk about the rubber band, I might be showing this and I'll have a chance to speak about it when the child is playing with the rubber band. So talking or providing commentary according to the scenario or what the child is interested in will give lot of chances for the child to correlate word or to associate that particular word of rubber band to the object of rubber band. So that's how we need to work on increasing the language and speech in children, especially in the children who is having issues with the autism triads or the autism spectrum disorders. And the second point of this, in the school, you might put a request to the child or to the teacher or to the management to reduce the amount of screen time. But yes, these days there are many apps which have been developed, and the virtual medium also is, a few people are using it as a mode of teaching to children with autism spectrum disorders. So, but the crux comes in analyzing and understanding how much of app usage is okay for the child, and it's not that every child will be beneficial with the same level or same type of teaching. So even teachers and as parents, we need to get the data and understand whether these virtual apps are really helping my child in learning in a good way, or the amount of negative behaviors like stimming, is that getting triggered more with the use of this virtual apps. So definitely everything will have its own pros and cons. The idea for us is to weigh the pros and cons. If the cons is higher than the pros, then the data itself says that virtual apps or the virtual teaching is not very effective to this particular child. So please do collect as much data as possible and believe in your gut system. And if you still feel that the stimming behaviors are high when there is a lot of exposure to the screens, definitely reduce the screens and try to increase the human interactions. And whenever you are interacting, always remember to give a commentary only on the things where the child is interested in. If my child is not interested in that particular thing, please never talk about it, never try to teach it. So in order to teach, that is one important thing. Second thing is understand the baseline of the child. And then take your language targets according to the baseline, in which your speech therapist might give you more inputs on how to take a baseline and how to take the next goals for the next 1 month or the 12-week period. If you have any further doubts, please do put it in the comment box, and thank you.